Alright, hello, this is about to be the most chaotic video I have filmed, as you can probably already tell by my hair. So this is what happens when you are a person with short hair who wants to film the books and makeup tag, because I'm not about to sit here with my hand up patting my forehead. So instead I'm gonna have the dumbest fucking hairdo ever, and pat my forehead. Last time I did my makeup, I had just a palette that I used. I've set up a mirror. It is sitting on an upside down trash can. I look absurd. I'm probably going to hate this the entire time that I'm editing it, but you know what? I don't have any other ideas right now, so this is just gonna have to do. Actually, I am going to do a folklore book tag soon, but I also ran into this problem while I was writing out the notes. Oh my god. While I was writing out the notes for this video. But it's like, I look at a book tag prompt, I sit there and look at the prompts, and suddenly I've forgotten every single book I've ever read. That's kind of where I'm at right now, and I want to do the folklore book tag right. If I'm sitting here doing makeup, I can't do my makeup very well. So what does it matter if this is kind of just a chaotic video? I'm gonna go ahead and get started. The first prompt is primer, and I don't really use primer, but I am going to prime my eyes for eyeshadow, I guess, so we'll call that primer. I'm going to use this Glossier concealer in the shade Light. I like it for eye primer because I can just rub it. Oh my god, I'm wearing my glasses. Great job, Natalie. That looks horrible. Wow. The reason why we're always so close to my face in these videos, like up close and personal, is because my room, wherein I film, is an actual disaster zone. So yeah, this is the only acceptable area. Alright, so there's that. I just want kind of a tacky base for my eyeshadow to stick to. And naturally, I've forgotten to actually answer the prompt. So the prompt for primer is a book that left a lasting impression on you. For me, I'm going to choose either Radio Silence by Alice Oseman, which I still think about, but I've talked about that so much recently that I'm also going to say Never Let Me Go by Kazuo Ishiguro. When I first read that book, I wasn't sure if I liked it, but then I kept thinking about it. And thinking about it and thinking about it. It's very thought-provoking. Yeah, I can't say too much. I don't want to give away too much. It's very much a book that you have to experience yourself, and I would recommend reading it. Next we have foundation. For foundation, I'm going to be using the ColourPop Pretty Fresh Tinted Moisturizer. The prompt for foundation is favorite first book in a series. For me, that's going to be The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater. That's really just, it's my perfect book, honestly. It's very much what I'm interested in. Stuff just being weird and slightly off, just weird stuff going on in this like misty foresty town. Very fall autumn vibes, but not like warm toned autumn, cool toned autumn, and I really like that. Two of my favorite TV shows are Fringe and The X-Files, and I feel like it's not super similar to Fringe and The X-Files, but it kind of gives me the same vibes in terms of just like weird stuff going on. If you have any recommendations that are similar to The Raven Boys, to me I would say that The Devouring Grey is kind of similar. Just kind of things with that same tone of like weird things going on in a small city and also like groups of friends. Love that. If you have any recommendations like that, I would appreciate it. Next we have concealer. And for concealer, it's a character I wish didn't exist, and this is very tied to what I'm reading right now. For concealer, I'm going to use the Clio Kill Color Pro Artist Liquid Concealer. I'm going to use a very, very little bit of this because my foundation is very light coverage. My under eyes, I have very, very dark circles. It's just kind of like I've always had dark circles, and that's literally as much concealer as I'm going to use. It is to such a point that I'm so used to having dark under eye circles that when I conceal them, I feel like I don't look like myself. I feel like I look very strange. And I am actually going to powder right away, and then I'll go back and talk about the prompts. I am using the Rimmel Stay Matte Powder, translucent powder. This is old as shit, and I'm sure I shouldn't be using it anymore. I just look very crusty right now. And that's okay. That's alright. Sometimes you're just crusty. For concealer, a character I wish didn't exist. Again, very tied to what I'm reading right now. I am rereading The Hunger Games. I've just started Mockingjay, where I am right now, and I really wish Gale Hawthorne didn't exist. Like, I'm sorry. I'm not sorry, actually. I just don't see a point to him as a character. I don't appreciate the love triangle. I don't think it needed to exist, especially considering at the beginning of The Hunger Games, Katniss outright says, she's like, there's nothing romantic between us, and I'm like, great, keep it that way. Why does this need to be a thing? And Gale is just so whiny. I remember, like, even when I read this in middle school, seeing the movies in like middle school, high school, and there's some line where he's like, why do you only ever kiss me when I'm hurting? I'm like, shut up, she doesn't owe you anything. She doesn't owe you a kiss just because you've been friends for a long time. God, he annoys me. And he's really like, he doesn't add anything to the story. Give Katniss a female friend. Like, she could have met someone later in life. She could be bonding with someone. In the situation she's in Mockingjay right now, don't want to give anything away even though this series has been out for like 10 years. Whatever. She doesn't need a secondary love interest. She just doesn't. There didn't need to be a love triangle. And Gale is my least favorite leg of this love triangle. I fucking despise him. I wish he didn't exist. And I remember in middle school I was so annoyed with my friends who were Team Gale. I was like, I don't get it. I don't get it. It was intense. It was much more intense for me than anything ever was with Team Jacob versus Team Edward. But I also had all friends who were Team Edward, so I don't know. Middle school times, guys. That was wild. For Powder, the question is favorite last book in a series. I had a hard time thinking about this because I don't read lots of series, and those that I have, I definitely would not say that the last books in the series are my favorite out of the series, or even like good enough that I would say they're some of my favorite books. I'm also really bad about finishing series, as I might have mentioned. I have not actually finished a ton of series since I was a kid. It's been a while. So I kind of came up with my own question for this, which was like most vivid storytelling, like for set the scene, setting Powder. I don't know how to link this to makeup. But I also don't know how, I didn't necessarily link any of the other prompts to makeup, so set the scene. CRIER'S had a very vivid storytelling. I used to be someone who imagined things a lot. There are certain books where I will definitely have more of a vivid picture in my head than others, and CRIER'S definitely just like created such an atmosphere where I felt like I could imagine exactly what was going on, and I really like that in a book. So yeah, CRIER'S, love it. Read it, please. It's such a good book. Oh my god. Next we have bronzer. I don't really often do my bronzer, but I'm gonna try for the sake of this video. I have this super light Sephora brand bronzer. I've heard that I should just do this on where the sun hits my face. The sun does not hit my face up here because I have hair that's normally sitting there, but I'm gonna bronze here anyway. Bronzer, perfect summer read. This was also something that I had a hard time thinking of, but for me, a good summer read is a light, fluffy romance. So I chose The Kiss Quotient by Helen Huang, which I read last summer, and I really loved it. It's a really cute romance, but it's not completely fluffy. Our main character has Asperger's syndrome, so we get to see how that affects her romantic life, and it's nice to see her coming to terms with the fact that she is deserving of romance despite the fact that she perceives the world in different ways. It's cute, it's sexy, it's a fun time. It was much more steamy than I was anticipating. I don't know what I was expecting. I had never read an adult romance before that point, so I was like, oh, okay, we're doing this. Alright, so there are some sex scenes, but I feel like I should have expected that reading adult romance. If you're dumb like me, there you go, there are sex scenes, so just beware. Contour, a book that surprised me with how much depth it had. So for my contour, I'm using this Catrice Prime and Fine professional contouring palette. This professional contouring palette that cost me like $4 probably. God, I'm bad at contouring. The amount of fear I am experiencing in this moment is unmatched. Oh my god. So scared. So a book that surprised me with how much depth it had was probably The Song of Achilles. I was not expecting it to hit me as hard as it did. I read it, I believe it must have been the summer before my freshman year of college. It's a retelling of the Iliad. It follows Achilles and Patroclus, who are, you know, gal pals. They're lovers. I don't know if I knew what was coming in the end. I know it's a retelling of the Iliad, but I was not super well up on my Greek mythology in terms of the Iliad. I bawled my eyes out at the end. I sobbed, and it's something that I still think about to this day. It has definitely stuck with me. I was in the car with my cousin Marilyn. We were driving down to Florida together, so I was like, I just had tears streaming down my face, and I was trying not to let it out that I was crying, and she didn't notice. Like, I mentioned this later, and she was like, what? Another book I'm looking at, I do have a bookshelf on this side, and I'm looking at it now. Another book that definitely surprised me with its depth was Looking for Alaska. Was another thing that I did not know what to expect going into it, and that's another book where I read the last 150 pages or so in one sitting. I was at my mom's high school while she was doing parent-teacher conferences, and I finished the book in one sitting. I was like in a trance and I read the last line and I absolutely just lost it. Actual sobbing. I am so glad no one walked into that teacher's lounge. That was a very, very important book to me in high school, and it definitely surprised me with how much it got to me. So there's another one. Next step is Blush. A book with a cringeworthy romance. I'll just go with this Milani Tea Rose blush. Why not? It's a nice, unoffensive pink color. So the book with a cringeworthy romance. I did not think of any where that I found the main romance to be particularly cringeworthy. But I did, as you will have seen in my last video, recently read Days of Blood and Starlight. And I feel like Mick and Zeus were just a little much for me. I was like, okay, y'all don't have to be all over each other right now. I don't know. You do you, live your truth. I'm happy for you that you guys are happy, but I don't particularly wish to read about it right now. It wasn't even that bad. I guess another cringeworthy romance moment that I had, it's no fault to the author at all. I actually really liked the book, but I read The Wedding Date by Jasmine Guillory as an audiobook, which I read while I was driving up to New York City to see 17 in Newark. I did not think this through, that I would not particularly enjoy driving on a highway and listening to someone read a sex scene. So that was a cringeworthy moment. I literally pulled off into a rest stop to change what I was listening to. I was like, I cannot handle this. This is a lot. This is not what I signed up for on this day. Yeah, so I really like that book, but I should have read it as a physical book. Because I don't want to listen to someone reading sex scenes. That's just not for me. Next up we have highlight. For this I will be using the Essence Pure Nude highlighter, which is a nice affordable highlighter. It's very subtle. I'm a big fan. I wonder if any of you will be able to guess which beauty YouTuber I watched the most of when I was going through buying makeup, because I feel like a lot of these products are ones that she recommended. The prompt for this is a book that brightens my day. I will once again be talking about Haikyuu by Haruichi Fururate. It just brightens my day. I still haven't finished it. I've gotten into a little Haikyuu slump again, I guess. I need to try to bump myself out of that soon because I really don't want to see spoilers. I don't. I want to experience it for myself, and I feel like every day I wait I'm getting more and more likely that I'll see spoilers, so I really need to get on that. But Haikyuu, it just makes me so happy. Like, I feel like every chapter, I could read one chapter and I will probably be made happy. If there's something going on, it'll be resolved, or there will be something that brightens things up within the next 2 or 3 chapters. I just love it. It is such a feel-good story. It really just brightens my day. That's the best way to put it. Now we have Brows, a book that I think everyone should read. Not really sure how that applies to brows, but we'll go there. First of all, I'm going to do my brows. My brows are just really not interested in any semblance of similarity. They don't grow similarly. It's very difficult for me to make them look similarly. So that's good enough. This is the brow that I like. This is the brow that's bad. I hate this brow. A book I think everyone should read. This is another recent read. I'm going with Black Flamingo by Dean Atta. This book was really just touching to me. Brought up a lot of issues. Michael is biracial. He struggles with feeling disconnected from both his Black Jamaican heritage and his Greek Cypriot heritage. He struggles with his sexuality and feeling out of place in LGBT spaces, and he ends up finding his home in the drag community at his college. I just thought it was a really interesting book. It was very personally written. I feel like the verse really lended itself to making the overall story more powerful, so for someone who's looking to get more into verse books, I would highly recommend it, because that's where I came into the book reading it, and also seeing it highly recommended on Twitter. I really do think everyone should read it. It's so unique. I think it's a very important story. Next we have Eyeshadow, and this is a book with my favorite colors on the cover, and I will not be doing this for my eyeshadow because my favorite colors are blue and I don't exactly wish to go back to the early 2000s. But a book that does have my favorite colors on the cover, which is blue and especially a tealish blue, is Summerbird Blue by Akemi Dawn Bowman. This is also one of my all-time favorite books, so another book that I would highly recommend, and the cover is just gorgeous. For my eyeshadow, I'm going to be using a combination of the Yes Please palette. This is well loved for me. It's a little bit beat up. It's also like a white palette with very pigmented shades, so it's a little rough. And I'm also going to be using the Good as Gold ColourPop palette. This is another thing that I don't think I'm gonna show on screen just because I don't really feel like editing it. Alright, back at it again. I did my eye makeup just like that. The next prompt is eyeliner, and I did not bring an eyeliner over here with me, and I kind of hate doing eyeliner because I'm very bad at it. The prompt for eyeliner is a dark and mysterious book. This is one that I had a hard time thinking of, but I chose This Savage Song by Victoria Schwab because I think that's a very dark and mysterious book. The old covers were especially dark and mysterious, but like, can we talk about those new covers? Actually, I don't know if Our Dark Duet has a new cover yet, but the new cover of This Savage Song is absolutely stunning. Like, I cannot stop looking at it. It's so beautiful. I'm going to do fake eyeliner, kind of, just eyeshadow on a little pencil brush. I don't think this is a pencil brush. Eyeshadow on a little angled brush. Next we have mascara, and this is a long book. Another one that I had issues coming up with. I got up in the middle of the night last night. Well, not the middle of the night, but I was laying in bed and trying to finish this list, and I got up to go to my bookshelf and assess what long books I have. So as far as long books that I just own, The Priory of the Orange Tree is pretty long. I think it's like 820 or so pages. I also have The Way of Kings, which might actually be 1,000 plus pages, but I have not read that yet. I'm using the Kiko, I don't know, Extra Sculpt something mascara. Another hint at what YouTuber I was watching a ton of at the time that I bought all this stuff. The longest book that I definitely know that I've read that I found on my shelf was A Court of Wings and Ruin. It's been like 45 minutes while my camera has worked up enough charge to finish filming this video. So I was in the middle of talking about long book. The longest one I've read is A Court of Wings and Ruin, which is 699 pages long. Last but not least, I literally had one step left to film and my camera died. That's annoying. Lipstick is favorite book Kiss. I was really racking my brain over this and I could not think of a specific kiss. I just couldn't. I couldn't think of one where I was like, you know what? That specific kiss, I really liked that one. I'm sure there's one that I could identify if I actually had long-term memory, but I couldn't think of one, so I decided to go with my favorite book, romance, and right now I'm just really digging the chemistry between Charlotte Holmes and Jamie Watson in Brittany Cavallaro's Sherlock Holmes series. It's just something else. I don't know. It's really hitting me hard. I really need to finish that soon. Anyway, for lipstick, I'm going to use ColourPop, the Ariel lipstick from the Disney Designer Collection. I have not worn lipstick in so long. I'm gonna try to put some of this, also ColourPop, Frozen 2 on top of it. It's lip gloss. I think I like this. Hopefully this looks alright. I don't know. I think it'll look alright in normal light, but with this hostile ring light lighting, it looks a little weird. I'm also just not used to wearing a full face of makeup. Alright, so that does it for the books and makeup tag for me. I don't know how much footage I'm going to have to sort through, but I think it's a lot and I'm kind of scared. Thanks for bearing with me. That's how I do my makeup when I actually do a full face of makeup, which is not very often. I had fun. Now I'm all dressed up with nowhere to go. Let me know what products you like using for makeup. If you want to do the books and makeup tag, I'll go ahead and tag you, because I assume when things are called tag, you're supposed to be tagged to do it. But I don't get tagged for things, so I choose to tag myself. And if you want to be tagged for the books and makeup tag, I tag you. Insert your name here, I tag you. Yeah, so this was a fun time. Hopefully I'll see you guys soon with another video, and I will speak to you guys later. Bye.